It was on May 13th, 1992, that Pope John Paul II said that the church should have a day set aside to pray for the sick and their caregivers. He called the day the World Day for the Sick. It is said that two things influenced his decision to do so. First, it was on May 13th, 11 years earlier, in 1981, that he had been shot and seriously wounded by an assassin's bullet in Rome. Second, he had also been diagnosed recently with Parkinson's disease. John Paul personally knew what it was like to be sick and to be blessed with good caregivers. World Day of Prayer for the Sick was first observed 25 years ago on this day, February 11th, in the year 1993. You may know that February 11th is also the feast day of Our Lady of Lourdes, a name given to Mary in honor of the apparitions that were seen in Lourdes, France by a young girl called Bernadette Soubirous. Shortly after the apparitions began, pilgrims and visitors to Lourdes began to be healed by the intercession of the Blessed Virgin. It was on this day, February 11th, 5 years ago, that Pope Benedict declared his decision to resign from his post as the Pope because he said his health was failing. Failing health was a challenge for John Paul and for Benedict, and can be a challenge for all of you as well. It is good to have this day as a day of prayer for the sick and for their caregivers. Today's gospel reading from St. Mark is an appropriate one for a day of prayer for the sick. A leper approaches Jesus, kneels down, and begs him to make me clean. The leper took a great risk in doing so, since he ignores the law that forbids him to approach or have contact with another person. Jesus ignores a law as well when he's moved with compassion, stretches out his hand and touches the leper as he says, "I do will it, be made clean." No one at that time was willing to touch a leper for fear that he would catch the disease. Jesus touches, and the leprosy leaves the man immediately. On this day of prayer for the sick, and as we approach the start of the season of Lent on this Wednesday, let us do three things. First, if you are isolated in your home due to age or illness, allow Jesus to enter your home and touch you with his healing graces. Ask him to heal you or give you the graces you need to cope with your illness. Believe that he is moved with compassion for you and you're never alone. Second, during the coming season of Lent, consider reaching out to others you may know who are isolated or alone due to illness or age. A phone call, a card, or a prayer goes a long way to reach out and touch someone who may need compassion and concern. And finally, on this day, let us pray for all those who are ill and for those who care for them.